everyone. Welcome once again to another exciting session with us at TWI. Today we're going to be talking about something very significant. The year is gradually winding down. We'll be ushering in year 2025. And so today we want to look at how to become financially great in 2025. Yes, you heard me right. How to become financially great. Do you want to become great financially next year? Then you have to be a part of this session. And I assure you that this session is going to be relatively brief and it's going to be worth every moment of your time. So we'll dive right into it. Brian Tracy and some of the great minds we have around financial success and motivation have identified one fundamental strategy as the key to becoming great at anything, not just finances, being great at anything. And what is that key? It's what I want to talk about now. It's the power of your pen, the power of your paper, and the power of your mind. Three things. Now, what are you going to do with the power of your pen, the power of paper, and the power of your mind? You need those three items to come up with what is called a goal. A goal. Brian Tracy made a very profound statement that changed my life and has changed the life of several people. He says he has discovered that a man, a human being, can significantly alter the course of his life or her life, depending on which gender he or she is, by simply writing clear, distinct goals and following through with actioning those goals. So today we're going to be delving into how to do very top-notch goals and how to excel with our goals. All right, that's what the emphasis of this video is. And we're doing this to the end that you become very financially successful in 2025. It's a principle that has worked for millions of people and it continues to work. A lot of people have changed their financial fortunes by simply using these principles, and we're going to be sharing them together in this session. So what is a goal? A goal is an objective that an individual or group of individuals hope to achieve, all right? And the achievement of these objectives significantly alters the course of the life of this individual or group of individuals. I'll say that again. The goal is an objective that an individual or group of individuals hope to achieve, which, if achieved, advances the overall interests of the individual or the group. That's what a goal is. What is a financial goal? Financial goal is a goal you set around your financial success and well-being. It is that objective you set to become better financially. Maybe you're struggling financially and you decide that, no, I've had enough of struggles about my finance. I want to take control. I want to move from financial insufficiency to financial sufficiency to financial independence and then to financial freedom. If that looks like you, or if that feels like you, then what we're sharing tonight is going to be very beneficial. Why are financial goals important? Money is important. Everybody needs money. The biggest business in the world is a business around moving money. Okay? Why? Because the poor need money, the rich need money, everybody needs money. We spend money every day. All right? And that's why I don't agree with the people who say that money is evil. There's nothing evil about money. In fact, I believe strongly that the lack of money will predispose you to a lot of evil. So we all need money, we need finance, we need sufficiency in our lives. And peradventure, you're already financially sufficient. Is everybody around you financially sufficient? Is everybody around you okay financially? I doubt that is the answer for any of us. You see, even if your own needs are met, there are several people around you, your neighbors, your friends, family, relations, whose needs have not all been met or whose needs are all not being met. So what it simply tells me is that you need to have more financial success so you can be a blessing to these ones who are struggling around you. So financial goals are important because our very existence, our well-being depends on it. Okay, we need to pay fees for our kids. We need to pay rent if you're not living in your own house yet. You need to own a car for easy mobility and the likes. You need money to do all of these things, all right? And so that's why financial goal setting is very, very fundamental and important, which is why we're doing this video. Now, how do you go about setting goals, financial goals? Want to get right into the meat of the matter. This is a very straightforward session. I would not want to waste your time with a lot of preambles. So we're going right into the meat of the matter. The first thing that must be said is you need to realize, what do you want out of your life? What do you want as a person? What do you want? Do you want, I was listening to an American actor a few days ago, and he made a very, 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 very deep statement. He said, he doesn't want to be mega rich. He just wants to be able to buy the things he needs anytime he needs to buy them. That's profound. He wants to be able to go anywhere in the world anytime he needs to go anywhere in the world. He wants to be able to afford it. He wants to be able to fly a private jet anytime he needs to travel in a private jet. That's his own definition of what he wants out of his life. A man I met many years ago, his own idea of what he wanted out of life financially was, he didn't want to be as rich as Ibeto. Back in the day, Ibeto was one of the most successful businessmen. I'm talking about the early 90s into the late 90s. He just wanted to have the ability to pay the school fees of his children, have a car for himself, have a car for his wife, and then, be able to meet basic needs. That was his own idea of what he wanted financially. All right. So the first thing to deal with when it comes to setting financial goals is you need to come up with a mental picture of what you want out of life. What do you want? What kind of financial destiny do you desire? It's very, very important you have these at the back of your mind. And particularly as we talk about going into 2025, you need to ask yourself, what do I want to see change about my finances in the new year? It's very important, because until you see it, until you imagine it, you may not have it. Success is not an accident. I shared the quote by Brian Tracy when we started this video, that a man can significantly alter the course of his life by simply dreaming, envisioning, and taking action. All right, so that's the first step. Now, having decided what you want to achieve, what you want out of your life financially in 2025, the next thing you need to do is to write it down. All right, write it down. You need to put it on paper. I remember I started by talking about the power of your biro or the pen, power of paper, and then the power of your mind. It's with your mind you imagine, it's with your mind you envision, it's with your mind you dream. All right, and then whatever it is you have imagined, you have dreamt, or you have envisioned, I strongly recommend you write it down on paper. Write it down on paper. Goals are better achieved when they are written down. When they are written down. I write my goals, and a lot of successful people write their goals. Do you know why it's important for you to write your goals? Research has shown that when you write anything on paper particularly, three sides of your brain or three areas of your brain are involved. And what you write, you rarely forget. In fact, another research was done, and it showed that students who write their lecture notes tend to do better academically than students who record their lecture notes. There's something about writing. If you're a person of faith, if you're a believer in the Bible, you'll see where the Lord said to Habakkuk to write the vision and make it plain on tables. All right, so there's power in writing on paper. Get a journal, get a notebook, get a jotter, whatever it is. Make sure you put pen to paper about that thing you want to achieve financially in 2025. All right. Now, how do you write these things? Because you're going to be asking me, I'm sure a lot of people are saying, okay, is it just to write a goal? How do I write the goal in a manner that is effective? You write your goals in the present tense. I give an example. You want to, maybe you earn 50,000 naira currently, and you're hoping to have monthly income of 100,000. You want to double your earnings on a monthly basis. So in writing that goal, what you say is, I have a goal. My financial goal is 2025. Starting from January 2025, I earn 100,000 naira per month. I earn a minimum of 100,000 naira per month. Write it in the present tense. Say, I achieve financial stability by May 2025. All right? You write it in the present tense. Or you say, I grow my savings by 50% within the first quarter of 2025. I grow my savings. All right? These are examples of writing in the present tense. All right? Very, very important. Write it down. Write it in the present tense. The next thing I want to talk to you about is make sure that what you have written is smart. All right? Make sure that your goals are smart. And when we say smart, it's an acronym for 5 very important words. S in the SMART stands for specific. Your goals must be specific. They must be so clear that you can explain it to a child and the child will understand it. So when we talk about specificity of your goals, your financial goals, we're talking about the clarity of it. It has to be so clear. It shouldn't be ambiguous. It should be specific. I give you an example. I want to increase my savings by 50% by the end of the first quarter of 2025. It's very clear. All right. If you're explaining that to the child, you tell the child might not understand 50%, right? But the average person should be able to understand what 50% means or represents. So that's the kind of clarity we're talking about. Specific, you're talking about your savings. You want to grow your savings by 50%. You're specific about what it is you want to grow. All right. The other example I cited, I talked about increasing your earnings. Right. These are specific goals. All right. And this can apply to other areas of your life as well. I'm sure you know that. Your spiritual life, your mental health, your social life. You can build goals around all the areas of your life, because at the end of the day, what's the goal of financial success without a balanced life, a fulfilling life in other areas? You just don't want to succeed financially, you want to succeed in other areas. But of course, our emphasis in today's discourse is on the issue of finance. So make it specific. The second letter in the SMART is measurable. Your goals should be measurable. All right. And I'll try to break this down as well. Any goal you set, any financial goal you set, must have measurable components of it. And I'll explain that. So you're growing your finance by 50%. All right. You're growing your finance by 50%. That's a measurable number. 50% is measurable. You earn 50,000 naira per month. Hitherto, you used to save 10,000 per month. 10,000 out of 50,000 is 20%. But your goal for the first quarter of 2025 is to grow your savings by 50%. So the question now is, I'm earning 50,000. 50% of 50,000 is 25,000 naira. So what you're simply saying by that goal is that starting from first quarter, I will not just be saving 10,000 from my salary or my earnings. I want to be saving 25,000 naira. It's measurable. You know, it's a numbers game. You can measure it. So if by the end of first quarter, you don't have 75,000 naira as in your savings, you can clearly see that you have not achieved that goal. I hope this makes sense. All right. If your goal for the first quarter of 2025 financially, as far as savings is concerned, is to save 50% when you earn 50,000 per month, it means that by the end of March, after you have earned your salary for March, you should have a total amount of 75,000 naira in your savings account. If at the end of March, you have 50,000 naira, what it means is that you have not achieved that goal. All right. So that's measurability. The next one is achievable. Your goal should be achievable. Now, somebody that earns 50K that wants to save 50%, is it feasible for you to save 50%? You're a single man, for instance, you're not married, you pay house rent of maybe 50,000 naira per annum. You commute to work, your monthly transport pay, the monthly transport expense is about maybe 10,000 naira. You look at all the numbers and you ask yourself, this goal I have set, is it achievable? Because it's not enough to just set goals. You need to be sure that you can achieve it within the resources available to you, within your circumstances. All right. Do I have additional skills that can give me extra income apart from my main source of income, my main income stream? All right. Do I need to acquire passive means of earning income if this goal can be achieved? So you need to look at all of these things to determine whether it is achievable. Now, let me give you an example of someone who is having a pipe dream about financial goal setting. You earn 50,000 naira per month, all right? And you say that by the end of 1 year, you want to have 5 million naira in savings. Looking at your circumstance, 50,000 naira per month, even if you don't spend your salary, which is impossible, even if you don't spend your income, I beg your pardon, even if you don't spend your income of 50,000 naira, if you save up every single penny you earn as per 50,000 naira per month, you save that up for 12 months, that equals 600,000 naira. It's nowhere near 5 million naira. You need a quantum leap in your income to be able to attain 5 million in savings by the end of 2025. You can clearly see that that is not achievable. But if this same individual perhaps has some other skills that fetch extra income, maybe he has data analysis skills, he has coding skills, He has copywriting skills. He does online jobs that he earns money in dollars. All right. He has a job where he makes up to 500K by doing copywriting or doing freelance writing, and all this other online stuff for American companies or offshore companies that fetch good money apart from his regular income of 50,000 naira. All right. So maybe bringing his gross to about 550, 600,000 naira. And he's very disciplined. Then he has a chance, which is very, very difficult. But he does have a chance. 500,000 naira, 550,000 naira. Over 10 months is about 5 point something million, 6 million. So over 1 year is about 6 million. So if he's very conservative, is not profligating spending, not you don't spend your money eating fast food, hanging out all the time with friends, changing your wardrobe every week or every 2 weeks, not following the Parkinson's law, which we addressed in one of our videos previously, then he has a good chance to achieve the 5 million target. So attainability is something that's very important as part of your SMART goal strategy. The next letter is letter R, which stands for relevant. The goal you're setting must be relevant to your life, must be relevant to your circumstance, must be relevant to where you stand. Why? Because what gives bite to your goals is how much impact it will have on you as a person. So it becomes a motivating factor. If the goal you're setting is not relevant to your circumstances, is not relevant to your life, to your well-being, to your favorability, the chances of you abandoning it after a while is very high. So those goals you're setting must be relevant to you as a person, must be relevant to people that are dear to you. All right. There's a common phenomenon we experience around goals with people. You find that people set very powerful goals. Some people set goals very early in December. They set goals. I'm going to achieve this. Some people set goals for the new year. Some people set goals for 2025 as far back as October. But you find that once January 1 sets in, they try. By February, they're struggling. By March, they're losing steam. By April, they've abandoned their goals. Part of the reason why that happens is because those goals were not relevant to their well-being, or they did not assert the relevance of the goals to their lives. So your goals must be relevant. Must be relevant to you. They must be relevant to your circumstance. They must significantly impact on your well-being. The last letter in our SMART goals is T, which is time-bound. Your goals must be time-bound. You don't set an open-ended goal. All right. Now, talking about time, you have what is called you have short-term, mid-term, and long-term goals. All right. So you can have a 10-year goal. You can have a 10-year plan. You can have a 5-year plan, which is like mid-term, or 3 years mid-term. And then you have short-term. So your 2025 goals, I will consider them more like short-term, mid-term, depending on your overall outlook around goal setting, financial goal setting, particularly. All right, but I recommend you have short-term, that's 2025. You have mid-term, next 3 years to 5 years, and you have long-term, 10 years from now, where you want to see yourself financially. You want to become a billionaire, for instance, and you're currently earning in hundreds of thousands. You can become a billionaire in 10 years if you have the right goals, if you have the right strategies. You can. I've seen people who have accomplished that in 12 years. They moved from earning in thousands of US dollars. I've read stories online about people, Americans, foreign nationals, and even in Nigeria here, I know someone who was freed from his boss barely 4 or 5 years ago, settled with about 2 million naira. And today this young man is a multi-millionaire because he had goals. He had goals. He told himself, in 5 years, I want to have a total working capital of over 50 million. And what did he do? He set goals, and he maintained a very disciplined life, not profligate with spending, eating 1 meal in a day, plowing the money back into the business, working hard, developing himself, personal development. He stopped at secondary school before he went to become an apprentice. But he came because he could read and write, read books. Most times you come to his place, he has gone to Owerri, he has gone for this conference, someone who didn't go to the university. Education does not make you successful financially. It is your ability to develop yourself, your mind, and to set goals and pursue those goals that guarantee your financial success. I'm talking about being time-bound. There should be a time frame around your goals. Don't set open-ended goals. Time frame, 12 months from now, this is what I want to achieve. 3 months from now, this is what I want to achieve. 6 months from now, this is what I want to achieve. All right, so your goals must be smart. Now, what are the practical steps you need to take when writing goals? I want to share this with you. and then we look at one other little detail. So the first thing you need to know, and I think I said it at the start, was you need to determine what you want out of life. All right, you need to determine what you want. Then you need to write a goal that helps you to get to what you want. Write a goal. So I want to have a very financially convenient and comfortable life in 2025. That's the life I want to have in 2025. I don't want to struggle to pay house rent the way I did last year. So I'm using house rent as a particular reference now. So in 2025, my rent will be due by October, okay? Or my rent will be due in August, all right? I earn 20,000 naira, I earn 50,000 naira per month. My rent is about 300,000 naira. So I need to set a goal around making sure that I pay my rent without hassles this year, the way I struggled last year. So I determine and I say, okay, I should have my rent of 300,000 naira. I want to have my rent by June or by July latest, so that I can pay comfortably in August. Is that doable? It is. It's achievable, right? You earn 50,000, 100,000 naira per month. So you can tell yourself, or you can say, I need to put aside 20,000 or 50,000 naira per month, so that by the time my rent is due, I have enough money to pay my rent. This is just an example. So you write a goal on paper. I need to earn this amount of money every month. And when I earn this amount of money every month, I need to put aside this amount of money every month, right? You write it down. Very important. You need to write down what you want to accomplish. I earn this amount every month. Remember I said you write it in the present tense. I earn 50,000 naira, or I earn 100,000 naira every month, and I save 50,000 naira every month. Write it in the present tense. Write it down. I earn it every month. So the month is the time frame within which I earn it, and is measurable because every month I can check whether I've earned it or not. Then set a deadline for your goals. Set a deadline. It's very important you set deadlines. That's the time factor in goal setting. Set a deadline. All right. So for instance, with the rent issue I just mentioned, you should be able to say latest by June 2025 or by July 2025, I should have had enough to take care of my rent. All right. Set a deadline. All right. Set a deadline. Very, very important. Don't leave it open-ended. The rent will take care of itself when the time comes. I wanted to use a word, but I'll not use it. It's only people who are not serious that plan or live their lives like that. It's only people who are unserious. Set a deadline. The next thing you must do is write a list of what you must do to accomplish that goal. My rent is 300K. It falls due by August. All right. I have set a deadline of July to have that rent fully in my account, ready for disbursement to my landlord or to his agent or to caretaker or whoever it is that receives the rent. I've set the deadline. The next thing I must do is I need to write a list. What must I do to ensure that I have these savings of 50,000 naira every month? So I earn 100,000 naira every month. I need to save 50,000 naira every month to pay rent. How do I feed? How do I feed? If I spend 30,000 or 40,000 naira on food, I pay my tithe. For people of faith like me, you pay your tithe or you give your offerings. You can see that the 100,000 naira income might not be sufficient for you to be able to meet your target of having your rent fully accumulated by July or by June. So the next question is, what do I need to do extra? I might need to get a second job, or I need to pull from my savings and start a side hustle. Or I might need to develop a skill. I might need to learn how to do something that I can learn within 2 months or 3 months that brings extra income to compensate for the shortfall that would arise when I take out my feeding money, my running costs, and still be able to achieve my target of saving 50,000 naira, which I intend to put aside for my rent. So I need to write a list. So having set your deadline, you need to write a list of the things you must do to accomplish that goal. You need to write a list. And this is the missing link for a lot of people. They write their goals, they write the deadline, but they don't now write a plan of action. What are the things I must do? And let me say something to you. If you set goals, as beautiful as your goals are, as smart as they are, and you don't develop the strategies that you must carry out, the things you must do to be able to achieve those goals, you are wasting your time. It might sound harsh what I just said, but that's the reality. you're actually wasting your time. So you need to write a list of the things you must do. There are things you must do, okay? There are things you must do to accomplish your goals, and you need to write a list of them. Now, having written the list of the things you need to do, I give an example of the young man who earns 100K, who needs to save 50K to pay rent. Having written your list of things you need to do, I give instances. I said you could learn a skill, you could learn a trade, you could meet someone who has. I remember the story of a guy who was struggling financially. His business was not doing so well, but he happened to know a person who was an importer in main market Onitsha, and this guy would bring in all kinds of wares, and this guy had marketing skills. So in his own business, his own line of business, he was not doing so well. But here he was, knowing someone who had access, who had products. He would import from China, import containers. And so do you know what this guy started doing? He will go, I think it was boxers and singlets, mostly underwears. You will talk to his friend, please. I need, can you give me these products? When I sell, I'll pay you back. When I sell, I'll pay you back. And the guy looked at him, I know you're somebody that has character. And he gave him a couple of, I think a bale of, I don't know how they call it, boxers and singlets. So this guy gathered those things and put it by his shop, right? As people come to buy other things he's selling, he's marketing the boxers, he's marketing the singlets, and they were buying. So he was doing his own business and added another line of business to his existing business. And before you know it, he started thriving with the boxers and the singlets. A time came, I'm telling you a true life story. A time came, he left his own line of business and focused on the boxers and the singlets, right? But do you know how he came about that? He sat down at the time when his business was not doing so well, but he had a goal of what he wanted to achieve. And it was out of that mental process of asking, what do I need to do to achieve this financial goal I set? My business is not enough to help me achieve it. It was in the process of musing. He now remembered, I have a friend who imports. I can try to market some of his products. It was in that place the idea came. He wrote it down. He went, he acted on it. And in fact, the good news, where this guy ended up, he grew so much. The last time I heard from him, he started traveling to Dubai himself to buy things, to China, after a couple of years of doing this business. So you see, goal setting is powerful. It's so powerful. It's so powerful. It's so powerful. So write that list, all right, of what you need to do to accomplish your goals. It's very important. Then the next thing that must happen is organize that list into a checklist. All right, organize your list into a checklist. Now, let me give you an example with this young man I spoke about that was started selling boxers and singlets. So he had a checklist. He organized his list. Okay, let me talk to I need to start I will start selling the products my friend imports. All right. So, but to go sell products your friend imports, you need to go talk to your friend. You need to visit your friend. You need to write a proposal. You need to discuss your plan with your friend. So he wrote, I need to go and visit my friend. I need to talk to him. I need to tell him my plans. I shall tell my friend my plan. So he wrote it down. He organized it to a checklist. When he went to his friend and discussed it, he checked it. He checked the box. I have visited my friend. We have discussed the business. The business was not concluded in one meeting. All right. I think they had to interface with his friend 2 times or 3 times. They had to discuss the numbers. How much are you going to give me this thing? How much do you advise me to sell it in a manner that the demand will be very high? You know, price, supply, demand, dynamics, pricing, dynamics, and all of that. I think they had to do like 3 meetings or 2 meetings before the deal was concluded. And then the friend started giving him those products. So it's not enough to identify what you need to do. You need to organize into a checklist. All right. Now, this checklist model is used by a lot of organizations around the world. Okay. Recently, a very big organization was organizing a big event in Nigeria. And I was privileged. I watched a video of a checklist meeting. They organized a checklist meeting where they looked at all the details, what they needed to do to achieve a successful event. And they were checking each item. They organized all the things they needed to do. Then they made a checklist out of it. And then in that strategy meeting, they were checking what had been done, what had not been done, what had been done, what had not been done, what had been done. And every year they organize successful meetings, successful events. People come from all over Nigeria. They have guests from around the world. That's how powerful a checklist is. All right. So organize those plans into a checklist. I think I've said so much on this matter. I move to the next important point. Now, having written your checklist, having organized that list of the actionable points you need to carry out, having organized them into a checklist, the next important thing is that you must take action. You must take action. And this is where a lot of people miss it. 90% of your success in setting financial goals is dependent on taking action. You need to take action. You need to move. Now, this friend of mine or this associate of mine I cited that went into selling boxers and selling singlets when his traditional line of business was not doing well. He did not stop at writing the goals, writing what he needed to achieve, what he needed to do to achieve the goals. He did not stop at doing a checklist. He actually took action. He left his shop and went to see his friend who was an importer, right? One meeting was not enough to close the deal. He went a second time, and I think a third time. Action. This is 90% of your success. A lot of people have beautiful dreams, have beautiful plans, have beautiful goals, but they fall short when it comes to taking steps, doing what they need to do, taking action. See, as powerful as your goals are, as powerful as your checklist is, as powerful as the steps, the plans are, the strategies are, if you don't act on them, nothing will happen, nothing changes. That's the reality. So you need to take action, you need to move. If there's a friend to talk to, go see that friend. If there's a friend to call, when we talk about a checklist, when we talk about actions you need to take, sometimes just a phone call, sometimes just a text message. The great things in life are the little things. The little things. It might just be a visit. Go and visit the person. It might just be go for that event, go for that trade show, go for that webinar, go for that, attend that webinar, just do something. All right? Take action. It's 90% of the job you need to do as far as succeeding financially is concerned. Now, that is where hard work comes in. That's where diligence comes in. That's where discipline comes in. That's where focus. Somebody defined focus as following one course until successful. That's where focus comes in. You're focused on your action, on your checklist. You're taking the steps one by one. That's where hard work comes in. Hard work, smart work, that's where they all come in. All right? So it's very, very important you take action. It's not enough. If you do all the beautiful things, set all the smart goals, write it on paper, write the steps you need to take, organize it to a checklist, and you don't take action, you would have wasted your time. I pray you don't waste your time. I hope you don't waste your time. And then the last thing is, do something every day. Do something every day. Make sure you're doing something every day about your goals. Do something every day about your checklist. Do something every day about your plan. Do something. Break it down into small units. Okay? Do something every day. If you do these things, you're going to achieve great financial success in 2025. 2025. You're going to achieve great success in 2025. Okay? Now, I want to share a case study with you of the practicality of today's session. It's a case study. I would love you to write your thoughts, share your thoughts in the comment section below. Tell us what you think about this. Tell us how you see these goals. That of course, it's hypothetical, it's fictitious, it's not a real scenario. It's a case study, so it's hypothetical. So Ikechukwu is an engineer who just concluded his NYSC. That's the case study. He has a goal of taking care of his parents starting from the end of 2025, right? By December 2025, he hopes to have achieved sufficient financial success to the point where he can now take care of his parents. Taking care of his parents will require the sum of 100,000 naira per month. Taking care of the family of his parents will require the sum of 100,000 naira per month based on current realities. Ikechukwu doesn't yet have a job. All right, like I said earlier, he just finished NYSC. He doesn't yet have a job. However, during his NYSC, he was able to save up 200,000 naira. He was able to save up 200,000 naira during his NYSC. He hopes to get a job now that he's done with NYSC that pays him 300,000 naira per month. He hopes that the 300,000 naira salary job will enable him to take care of himself, set up a lot of things, such that by December, he'll have a lot of freedom to be able to send his parents 100,000 naira every month. Ikechukwu has data analysis skills, all right? He's good in data analytics, all right? Now, the question, because it's a case study, Do you think Ikechukwu's goal is attainable? Do you think Ikechukwu's goal is attainable in the light of all you have heard about Ikechukwu so far? Do you think Ikechukwu's goal is attainable? Please give us your answers in the comment section. Do you think Ikechukwu's goal is attainable? Ikechukwu just finished NYSC. He has a goal of taking care of his parents come December 2025, the last month of the year. The cost of taking care of his parents is 100,000 naira per month. Ikechukwu doesn't have a job, but during NYSC, he has data analysis skills, and during NYSC, he was able to save up 200,000 naira. He has savings of 200,000 naira as we speak. He hopes to get a job starting January or whenever that pays him 300,000 naira per month. So, but his goal, as far as taking care of his parents is concerned, is to give them 100,000 naira starting December 2025. The first question is, do you think this goal is attainable? The second question is, what can he do to achieve this goal? All right, what do you think Ikechukwu can do to achieve this goal? And then the last question, if Ikechukwu fails to land his dream job, his 300,000 naira job, what do you think will happen to his goal of taking care of his parents by December? We'd love to hear your thoughts. We've shared insights about financial greatness, particularly as it involves goal setting. Please, we'll be glad to hear your thoughts regarding Ikechukwu and his goal of taking care of his parents. And in case you've been tuning into our videos on TWI and you've not yet subscribed, please, we'll be glad to have you subscribe. Help us like and share this video. And don't forget to tell us your thoughts in the comment section. We wish you a powerful, wonderful, financially rewarding 2025. And we hope that you put to practice the truths, the wisdom, the nuggets we have shared with you in this video. Thank you. Until I see you next time. Bye-bye.